What's up will be in like yeah.
There we go.
You can say what's up now.
What's up, boys?
What's
Yo,
up, boys?
TOBINES, what's going on, man?
it's actually TOBINES is how you pronounce it. TOBINES. Everyone
TOBINES.
gets,
Is it?
yeah, everyone gets, because my full name is Tobias Nessaraja. So it's like,
Oh,
no one's going to be able to pronounce that. So
Gotcha.
I've been
everyone,
saying it
everyone normally
wrong.
calls me Toby. So it's like TOBINES for short. Yeah.
okay, cool.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah.
stick to Toby.
But
That works.
I won't hold it against you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
This is
Dude,
a
I
good
was.
start.
Oh yeah, we're off to the races, man. I was just watching your Limp Bizkit Take a Look Around drum cover. That one blew up. That's sick.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know what's weird about it? I was actually looking the other day, and a fun fact is that Limp Bizkit actually gets more monthly listens than Slipknot on Spotify. I was so surprised at that.
Really?
Yeah, that is surprising.
Yeah, they've not released anything in like 10 years at least. I was like, fucking hell, that's fucking insane.
Maybe it's just suits a little bit more of a mainstream audience or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it makes sense to be fair. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
some kind of a thing because the lighter you go in metal in general, the more listeners you have, at least in Spotify.
Lighter, yeah, like recurrent, still around. Got you.
yeah.
Yeah.
I had a buddy over to my house the other day, and he admitted to me that he never he never got into, and he openly dislikes Slipknot. I was like, you need to leave.
Get out.
I wasn't about it, man.
This is blasphemy.
Exactly. You can't be saying that in these walls.
This we don't talk about this shit.
Cool. So yeah, so this is a really cool podcast for us because literally we have three people in the house who basically do the same thing. Like there's some
Yeah.
differences between, but essentially the idea is the same. We all make drum covers, we upload them to YouTube, and yeah, we do our best to sort of entertain through the drum set, which is really cool. I can't wait to talk about a lot of that, and I want to start with Toby. I want to start with you, and like your roots, I guess, man. Like what, first of all, let's go back to like very beginning. What got you into drums, and then like what kept you drumming like over the years?
What got me into it was, I think it was my dad, to be honest. He just had a lot of CDs when I was a kid, and he had this like 300 CD changer. I remember it, and he had all these CDs in it. And just whenever I had free time, I would just play around with it and listen to all the shit that was in there. And some of it was terrible, and some of it was sick. Like he had, there was a Metallica CD in there, a live CD with the orchestra, and there was a live Nirvana CD in there, and listened to them. And then after that, it was pretty much, Mum, get me a drum set, and then
Yeah.
from there, it's literally never stopped playing. That was when I was like 4 years old, probably, when I first got my first like toy drum set. Never stopped since then.
And how old are you now?
26 now.
Oh,
You're my-
wow.
We're all the same age.
We're all 26. That's
Oh, shit.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's insane.
Very cool, dude. Very cool. Yeah. So, when was there a point like on the come up? Was there a point where you were like, okay, I got to figure out how to do this like professionally. I got to figure out how to like make sure that this is forever. You know?
Yeah, that was really early on, actually.
Cool.
It was probably when I was about 7 or 8 or something like that, because I was at that time, as you guys will know, it was when it was like, like MTV and Kerrang and whatever TV you had it in Canada or wherever.
Yeah.
Like it was all about the music videos at that point. I remember watching, like your Limp Bizkit, your Slipknot, all them on the MTV, and being like, yeah, I need to make this happen. We're not quite at that point yet, but yeah, pretty much on someone's TV, someone's watching me somewhere. So
That's so cool.
Oh,
So
yeah.
outside of what I know about you on YouTube, after deciding that point, did you get to play in bands along the way? And like, what's your background with live performance?
Yeah, basically, when I was about 10, I think that's when I started my first band, and we would play at the school that we were at, just in like talent shows and shit like that. And with the same guys, we played, I don't know, till I was about maybe 18, 19 or something. And we changed throughout the years. Like when I was about 10, we were doing Green Day, and then that matured into like Metallica, and then you get heavier and heavier, and then it was like Slipknot, Parkway, you know, etc., etc. But
The
then
natural
after a
progression.
while, yeah, after a while, it just like it faded out a bit. You know how the other guys in the bands just sort of moved on to, you know, like normal careers, whatever you
Yep.
call it, and I didn't stop. So yeah,
Yeah, that's wow, we that's exactly what happened with me. The same thing. It just felt like I got to a point where it just felt like everybody, you know, was going to school or like and like then band practice used to be 3 4 days a week, and then it just started turning into one or maybe every second week, and then even then it would just get blown off for girlfriends or something. And like the further along I got, it just kind of came down to like, all right, well, I'm just gonna try and make drumming like and then I saw like Cobus and Luke Holland and Matt McGuire, and then I was like, wait, so you can do it just yourself and then just like try and work into something later. And that was when I personally I was like, okay, I gotta start figuring out how to make YouTube videos. Let's do it.
yeah. That I think those three are quite universal for a lot of people doing YouTube nowadays. They've seen that it's possible through the
Yeah.
other people, and then they're like, well, if he can do it, then I've got a shot at doing it. You know what I mean? So I think just seeing that it's possible makes you want to do it a bit more.
Yeah, and actually, you blew up rather quickly because, at least for me, because I was watching a lot of YouTube drummers before I started. Now I just don't have the time. But you know, this is how I found out about Wyatt and stuff like this. And out of nowhere, one day you just started appearing, on all the
Yeah.
suggestions,
It
and
was
then
his
next thing you know, you have 100,000 subs, and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
it was that Bring Me the Horizon. I think that's what it was, right? Essentially, you like you stuck to the and I've done the exact same thing. You like the was it no, it wasn't Ammo. I can't remember which release. Yeah, it was Ammo, right? And you like nailed like every song like the week after it came out. I remember seeing like boom, 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 and then a few of those just sparked and boom, like viewers, let's go.
yeah. That was like when that Ammo album came out. I was like, I was kind of figuring things out, seeing what would do well and where the views are coming from. And when that album came out, I was like, I'm gonna try and milk this album now. And
Yes,
so I did it every day, like one cover a day. And then yeah, that was when like first got like a first batch of success, if you know what I mean. And then
100%.
after that, I think it was at the start of lockdown last year. I'd done a Slipknot one, and then for some reason YouTube just picked it up, and then that's when the growth like really started happening. Like after
Yeah.
that,
Yeah, I think what you did so smart. And I talk to a lot of guys. A lot of guys will reach out, and I have long conversations about like how to get into it. Like guys asking like what do you recommend, like this that kind of thing, like. And something I tell a lot of guys is like you got to check out TOBINES. He did it, or sorry, Toby. You got to check out Toby. I've been saying it for so long; it's
it's
just
all
in
good.
there. I'm sorry, my man. You got to
It's
check
all
him
good,
out
man.
because he did something to it, like almost like a little bit more extreme version. Like my version of what you did was like I had the Architects wave. There was like a record where I just like it was yeah, essentially it was All Our Gods and then the one after that, Holy Hell. Those two
Holy
for
hell,
me,
yeah.
I just like
Yeah.
nailed as many as I could. I remember going to Architects shows and everyone in the crowd being like, "Holy shit, you're that guy who plays all these songs on YouTube." I was like, "Oh my god, people know about me because of the internet. What the fuck?" But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
I
an
talk
insane
about that a
number.
lot, how that's super smart the way you did that. And then what's cool too is when you do that, you create like this, it's like this umbrella of an audience that, especially with a band like Bring Me the Horizon, there's so many bands underneath that umbrella that you can now move into and like, learn songs of and do performances under. And the odds of those fans knowing those same bands is just so high. And I think you kind of saw that, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Really, it's just like from Bring Me the Horizon, you've got like they kind of sound like Linkin Park. Everyone always
Yep.
says that on whichever song it is. And
Yep.
then from Linkin Park, like for me, you kind of go into that like new metal era, which is like your Limp Bizkit and etc. Korn, all that lot. And then most likely the people, like you said, who like Bring Me the Horizon, they'll probably like new metal, and then so on and so on. Like same with Architects, really. It's like I've seen that you've covered quite a few similar bands to that, and then they seem to do really well because obviously the fans of Architects are going to be fans of those bands. Just makes sense, really.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, man. Right on, dude. So what is your current focus? Like what do you got going on that you're grinding? I mean, maybe like obviously you're probably just working on more songs for the channel, but outside of that, do you have anything going on musically that you know, could share, or maybe I don't know, anything?
I wish I had something to share, but no.
Just the
Literally at the
focus,
moment,
just the
it's just
singular.
literally, yeah, singular focus on the channel. I would like to focus on something else as well, but the thing is looking at other people, you can take inspiration, but I haven't found anything yet that I'd like to focus on that seems me, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah.
Like, I don't want to just copy someone else because it's successful for them. I want to make sure it's true to me. So at the moment, I'm just, focusing on doing the videos on the channel, enjoying that, building what I can on here. And then I think, to be fair, as things start opening up COVID wise in England, then I'll be getting out a bit more and maybe trying out a few things like, outside of my studio. But yeah, literally for the past year, all I've been doing is focusing on just doing videos for the
You
channel.
know, it's strange. Well, it's not strange. It was just I had a conversation recently exactly about this, what you were saying about having your uniqueness, and in a world where, well, all three of us are doing the same thing, and but all three of us have a different spin on it.
Yeah.
And I was having recently this conversation. I don't remember with whom, but it was I was explaining how in the beginning, the most natural thing ever is to just mimic and copy something or somebody that's already uh, successful, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel, you know.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
it's there is a point in time where you're just like, okay, so I got the principles. I got the general stuff that's working. I learn about the tools of these trades, whatever. But if I continue doing that, I just become like a second version of that person, or of that product, or whatever it is. And I really want to have my spin on it. I want to be recognizable for something. So for instance, with your videos, I don't even have to click on a video to know it's yours. I see the
Mm.
thumbnail and I immediately know this is Wyatt's or this is Toby's, because Toby's, it's always the yellow words of whatever song it is, and your lighting setup, whatever, which is obvious even in the thumbnail. So the instant that I see something by either one of you, I can recognize it. And yeah, so it's perfectly normal, and I see it happening to a lot of guys, not only in music, but as soon as you start getting some traction, it's healthy to actually starting to bend it in some kind of way, so you become more recognizable and more unique about it.
Yeah. I feel as though to add to that, it's like I think you see that a lot just in like if you listen, like look back through your own discography and listen to bands early on. It's like everybody's first record or second record, you know, first one or two ish, sound like so much like another band. And then in a
Well,
lot of cases,
asking
a lot of
Alexandria.
cases, yeah. And then in a lot of cases, even past that, like I remember looking back at like early Rise Against records, or like Bullet for My Valentine. Like these bands had such heavy influences you could hear in their first
Mm.
couple releases, but then by their third and fourth, it was like they were starting to figure out what exactly it was that was going to make them unique about it. And the cool thing about the process, it seems like, is well, I guess in a miniature way, it's kind of happened a little bit with my videos too, as I've worked on putting out content. It's kind of like you just live life experience and then you add these layers. It's like one skinny layer at a time, and it just like builds. And then you get to the point where, okay, now you're something outside of what was. But everybody has to start at that all right, I'm just gonna, that guy's doing it and it works. I'm just gotta, okay, what mics is he using? Like, I remember literally back in the day, like Cobus put up a video. He was like, this is the interface I use. These are the mics I got. I never got them, but man, did I save up for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like, if that's what my man said, you know, he said he used GoPros. If that's what my man said, we gotta get the GoPros. So
Yeah,
Yeah, because you're
yeah,
fucking clueless at the store.
yeah, for
And
100%.
sure.
Yeah,
yeah,
100%.
totally.
Yeah, I think,
But like, what I've noticed as well is that seems to be nowadays on YouTube is people actually like to watch that journey of, you know, you go back to the first video and it is terrible in most cases, and then
It's
you can go
horrible.
through all the videos, or people subscribe and they can watch that journey unfold in front of them. Whereas like on the album front with bands, it's kind of like they might have a first and second album that sounds similar, but then it almost kind of like this jump on like the third or fourth, where it's like, yes, there is that sick progression, but you've not seen it happen before your eyes like you do on the YouTube. It's like you're saying, you can see that small layer after small layer get added, and I think people find that quite fun, and I think people can relate to that with when they're doing their own YouTube channels, and it gives them the inspiration to then do that themselves.
yeah, 100%. That's the really beautiful thing about the type of content that we produce is that, well, not even just like specifically to drums, like anybody who becomes a sort of like entity to themselves on the platform. And nowadays, it doesn't have to be YouTube. It's so like YouTube, I guess, was really the original where you could see that landscape kind of work like that. But now, you know, there's TikTok and there's other options. But just building on what you're saying, it's like now you get that, you get to see day to day what they're doing, and then in some cases you get to see the mistakes. And you know, like for me personally, getting that window was the only thing that made it possible for me to do what I managed to figure out how to get done. You know, and that's so cool because then you can be that for the next and then the next, and it just like this web just keeps expanding. And like, who doesn't want more drummers in the world, right? Who doesn't want more great music, right? Like, it's like if I can inspire anybody to pick up the sticks and get at the kit and like try and make a video or like get jam with some friends, like fuck yes. Like I remember for me personally, like my childhood, like the first time I felt like, I guess like this real sense of like, I don't know, love and wholeness was the first time I put on headphones and listened to Good Charlotte's The Anthem. That was like this, it was like this moment. Everybody knows their like first couple songs. It was like this moment that just fully engulfed me. It took me over. And like, I knew from that point going forward, I was in grade 2. I knew from that point, I was like, I don't know what the fuck in life, but this is happening all the time. And it was like, I was obsessed. And like, if I can be in any way at any point, that kind of feeling for somebody, they can watch a video and get that. It's like, that's what we're fucking talking about. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, that's a powerful thing when someone, you both will have seen it on like your comments or your messages or something, when someone said, I've watched your videos and now I play drums or whatever instrument because
Yeah,
of that. It's
yeah,
like, holy shit, that is insane. Like, to actually think about that is fucking so rewarding.
yeah, for sure.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And at first, and I guess me at least being the smallest channel of us three, um, when this happens, I'm still, you know, not quite fully understanding it because I'm still not really used to hearing stuff like this. So every now and then when it happens, I'm still like, Is this about me? Is this guy talking about me right now? You know, because there's somebody saying, or they send me pictures in by email, and there was this guy. I think his name was Marty, and he sent me a screenshot of his Facebook profile, and he used my picture as his cover photo. You know, just like I used to be doing with Joey Jordison back in the days. And I was like, oh, holy shit. Not only is this guy, you know, liking my stuff, but he actually used my, and he was actually asking if I was okay with that. And I was like, are you kidding? That's awesome. you know, and that he's using my picture, me playing the drums, as his cover photo, and I'm like, whoa, this is
That's
something
insane.
new.
It is
Yeah.
insane. I mean, to be fair, I still actually get that feeling where I'm kind of like, did you mean to send it to someone else or something?
Exactly.
It's still
Yeah.
kind of like that, but that I think, to be fair, what for me, if I ever don't have that feeling, then I will have become too. The ego will have become too big that at that point. But
Yeah,
You will become spoiled.
yeah, but yeah,
100%, dude.
it's always super nice to get those messages. I'll gladly have them every day of the week. But yeah, that is probably the most satisfying thing for me, doing that. Just when someone else says they've watched it and now they play drums because of it. Yeah, that's so sick.
I have, like I was saying earlier, I got a bunch of, like, I have this student thing where I essentially, what we're talking about, I'll sit down with individuals who want my time, and I'll help them the best I can with, like, questions, anything along the lines, what video editor, what, anything at all. And then I've had so many students who literally have hit me up and be like, yo, do you know this guy Toby on YouTube? I'm like, yeah, of course. Why? What's up? He's like, this motherfucker, he gets up at like 4 or 5 a.m. He's out grinding. He's like getting after, he's like the hardest worker on the fucking internet. I'm like, oh yeah, I know, right? He kills it. It's like he drops like 6 videos a week. It doesn't give a fuck. And they're all like better than the last. And I like see that so much. So like it's crazy to see, because that kind of energy too, that transcends. It transcends into their spaces, and it, like, if you can man up and you can help someone else man up, then like that's this web that just makes the world a better place in the end. And it's silly to, like, I don't know, it can be cliche to kind of look at it like that, but at the same time, it's like, just by starting something with the drums or whatever it is, you can be that, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool. That is cool.
Yeah. I wanted to share that with you. I thought you'd dig that.
Yeah, that's fucking
Yeah.
sick.
So part of what we do on this pod is a lot of what essentially we've been talking about, which is I want this space to we want this space to be a place where people who are trying to do whatever they're trying to do can come and get some pointers, tips and tricks, that kind of stuff. So with that in mind, no wrong answers. I would love to hear from you some things that have really helped you, like on the come up, like whether it be like a course that helped you in audio, like understanding signal flow, or how to, how you learned camera techniques, whatever. If there's anything along the lines that helped you sort of piece together in the early days how to create your content today.
Hmm. Okay, let me think. I think number one is just consistency. Before anything else, as long as you're consistent with your learning, or you're consistent with your mindset, and you're consistent with your focus, I think you need to get that in place first. That's kind of like the foundations for everything. But with that said, like, something like you can actually go and look at today, if someone was going to look, is, for me with audio stuff, I learned everything I learned from URM, which I think's like
Yeah.
Unstoppable Recording Machine, or I think that's the name.
Your Academy.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was signed up for that for a bit, and that's pretty much where I learned everything audio. Had no idea about it like a couple of years ago. Signed up for that, and that's where I've learned everything. Other than that, yeah, I haven't actually thought about this too much. Other than, like, I think, yeah, just consistency is what I would tend to say to anyone. It's because, like, I feel like you can have all of the camera gear and all the audio gear and all of that stuff. You can have it nailed, but if you don't consistently post videos that are at the same quality, or at least getting better each time you post, or you're learning something each time you post, then I don't think you'll get anywhere with the platform. And people do tend to message me quite often about, what camera I'm using, or what cymbals, or what mics and whatever. And they will say that they're not being successful on YouTube because of like a microphone. And I
Yeah.
think obviously audio production and the visual quality is important, but I do think that, what songs you're choosing as well, and the consistency is important. If you're not choosing something that people are going to watch, and if you're not putting it out consistently so you're always in people's minds, then I don't think people are going to watch regardless of your quality, visual or audio.
So to
Yeah,
go ahead.
I just wanted to add a little bit. Maybe it's not even the song. It's maybe more like 95%. It's your energy and
Coupled with the choice, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But then again, there's some I'm aware of at least two or three highly unpopular deathcore songs that have millions of views. I mean, I'm talking about drum covers,
True,
Yeah, yeah,
true,
yeah.
true.
Exactly.
and
It's so true.
there is no logic for this song. We all know the logic. You need to get as popular as possible, as mainstream as possible, so you can get as much views as you can. But these songs are some pure deathcore slam, whatever it is,
Yeah,
and they have millions of views, and they're not even that old. They're like 2 or 3 years old. It's not like 15 years, so they have accumulated over a decade or something. So, but the guys that are playing, first, their technique is amazing. They're fucking robots. But then again, the energy behind the song, even if it's not a popular song, you can get a pretty good look at the energy like the first 10 seconds. So it doesn't matter if it's, well, I guess it does matter, but I don't know.
I feel as though what you're speaking to is kind of like there's like a bigger truth in this, and this is something that like I've heard echoed in like really high levels on like those goofy television shows like The Voice or like America's Got Talent or any of that stuff, where artists will talk with these individuals who are covering a song, and like Miley Cyrus will sit down or whatever, some big name, and they'll like one of the things that they get fixated on when it comes to the individual going into the next performance is understanding what song to pick that suits the individual best. And it's not always just because of like a certain range or ability when it comes to vocals. Oftentimes I feel as though just having, pumped out some covers, I feel as though like the ones that really land are the ones that are like closest to my authentic self. Like it's like I'm working with songs that like I vibe on 110% of me. Like body, mind, soul, spirit, like everything about what I'm going through at the time, I can step into that song and be like, this is what echoes, these echoes are what I feel right now. And I can reverberate on that wavelength with that song. And it just hits so much harder when you're really true to yourself and you bring it into the track. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of feel like that's kind of what the idea is there. Cause like, it's true. You can pick, like some of the bigger covers I've had are songs that didn't really get a ton of views, but then my cover will get, and it's like, whoa. And it's just because like, it was like that couple of like, okay, this suits me and I'm on the track. All right, let's bring it, let's bring the heat. So you
Yeah.
can like feel that,
yeah.
So,
I agree with that 100%.
yeah, and I see that in your videos all the time. Like the ones I see you just like there's like a vibe. Both of you. When you guys have put out both of you, and when I'm watching, I've seen songs that I've never heard of, and I don't even care. I watch you drum, and I'm like, this motherfucker means it. Let's go.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel
So
to be fair, that's a good point because I think that makes the road for the creator clear where they need to go down. If you cover 10 songs and 3 of the songs you really vibe with and you get that kind of feeling that you're talking about, then you should probably go down that path regardless of whatever else. I think
yeah,
that's the best way to make sure that you will stay consistent in creating, because those songs you vibe with are going to be obviously your best performances, but also you're going to really enjoy it. And when you enjoy it, you're going to want to continue, obviously. So
exactly, yeah.
vibe is a good point to put across to people, definitely.
Yeah, I gotta be true
Yeah.
to you for sure.
Totally.
So the next part I wanted to ask you about, I want to dive a little bit deeper into the consistency concept. So for me personally, and I imagine like seeing your stories and like hearing some of my students come back with that feedback that I told you about a moment ago, I had once I figured out the consistency thing, because that took some time. Like it took a while. I was like, nothing's working, and then I got desperate. And like in the desperate, I got all right. We're just going to delete everything nothing matters. No more invites. Get out of my life. Phone off. We're going to do the same thing every single day for a while. And we're going to do it a while this time to see how it works. So, is that, do you have like, so what's your morning routine look like? What's your days look like? And how do you stay, like, how do you find it in you to like kind of stay consistent, stay on track? And then what are the things that are really important? Is there like certain workouts you do or like something that really helps contribute to this is how I deliver my content?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, I would say part of it, since my like the bigger sort of numbers that I've been getting on YouTube, is obviously lockdown. So that's forced me to be focused regardless of whatever choices I make. But I do think the lockdown has helped me get a mindset to be more focused, in the sense of there's not many other things to choose from. So I've just focused on getting that mental clarity of how I can structure my day. So my morning routine will just be wake up at 5, read for a little bit, work out about 6. Then once I'm done with my workout, I'll just eat. I'll meditate for a bit. Find that like chills me out a bit, gets my head like straight, and then I'll write down what I want to do for the day. Um, then I like to learn Japanese, so I'll do that for like an hour, and then after that, I'll get on with my day, and just basically cross off everything on that to-do list. And then if I haven't crossed everything off on that to-do list, then I'll just add it to the next day, and then literally repeat that every day. And
Cool.
that's been pretty good for me throughout lockdown, because it's got a bit of everything in there to keep me busy, keep me focused, keep me challenged. You know, you can mix up a workout when things get a bit boring. You can, if the workouts aren't really that going that well, I've got my Japanese to challenge me, and then after all of that stuff, I've got the best of all, which is just playing drums all day, which is sick.
Yeah, 100%, man. So just to get real specific, because I'm curious, what I know what your because of the video you posted, I know what your song learning regime looks like, and we have the exact same one. They blew me away when I watched it because that's the exact way I pick the song, map it out in MIDI, learn what I wrote in MIDI, then play it at the kit. And I do it. You do it on a Go Anywhere set, I think, right? The DW practice pad set.
Not anymore. I destroyed
I'm not.
that, so it's a Roland E kit now.
Okay, perfect. I'm on a Roland V drum as well, so we now are the exact same. That's cool.
Yeah.
Good for you for destroying it. Work that shit to pieces. So how often do you practice, and how long do those those sessions go for each day, kind of thing?
Literally different every time, because
Yeah.
say if I'm learning, for example, a Linkin Park or Slipknot song, or Limp Bizkit, something like that, I already pretty much know it because I've listened to it for like 20 years at this point. So all I need to do is hop on the kit and just work out maybe a couple fills. So it'll take me like 20 minutes, half an hour. If I'm learning a song completely from scratch, I've never heard it before, it depends on the complexity of the song. But usually anywhere from probably like an hour to 2 hours. I mean,
Nice.
I should probably practice more to get tighter, but as we were talking about earlier, staying like authentic to yourself, like when I practice too much, I don't enjoy it that much. Like going over things over and over again, I prefer to just keep the song. That if I listen to the song too many times, that sort of raw energy tends to leave me, if you know what I mean. Because I tend to actually learn the song and then record the video on the same day. So if I've practiced the song, you know, like 20 times and then I go and record it, maybe that'll take me 2 or 3 takes. By the end of that, I'm just kind of like wiped out. So I'll probably only practice for like 2 hours very max on a song, unless it's something, you know, stupidly technical, and I'll stretch it over a couple of days.
Yeah. Right on.
Yeah, that sounds actually a lot like me. And
Yeah, you do the exact same thing.
yeah, I mean, my times for learning songs are somewhat the same. Um, However, recently I purposely try to stretch it out. So even if I'm able to learn a song in like one day for 2 hours, I on purpose stretch it out in terms of 2 days. So I still learn it in one day, but at the second day I'm just polishing stuff, you know. making sure I get the ghost notes or I get the feels. And again, there's still stuff that I'm improvising or feels I play different than they are in the original. But yeah, pretty much my process is the same without the midis. I do it just entirely by ear. But what I noticed, and I thought it would be interesting to ask of your opinion, both of you. um, I've noticed there is a certain curve to from the point where you hear a song or you know a song for the last 20 years and you decide you're going to make a drum cover video of it, until the point where you're done with recording. So for me it looks like this: when I first hear the song and I really like it, or I decide I'm gonna film the song, my my hype is way higher on the rise. When I start learning it, it just falls down because the learning process is never as fun, as playing the whole song. Right after I learn the song, it's on the rise again because I'm like, okay, now I got it. Now I get to the fun stuff. And then I start recording. Let's say I film the first one or two takes, where I always start with my main take, with my main camera angle. Sorry, because well, it's most apparent in the video, and this is where I waste the majority of my energy. So I make sure my main shot, the one that's facing me frontally, is like top notch, perfect. I got all the emotion, all the energy there. And after the first one or two camera angles, because I've got like five or something, it's just plummeting to the ground, and I'm just like, oh, I just need to get it over with. So my feet camera angle is the last, because literally while I'm filming my feet, sometimes I don't even use my hands, or I'm just marking stuff, or I'm using the ride instead of a crash, just because my energy is so depleted, and nobody sees what I'm doing with my hands in this angle. So yeah, it's like a roller coaster every time I'm learning a song, and I just wanted to hear if it's the same with you or it's a different way.
Well, for me, it. I do get exactly where you're coming from, because I used to do my videos with three different angles, all on separate takes. But now I did. I After doing it for so long that way, and I had the exact same curve as you. I wanted to kind of. I'm getting a bit sick of it, to be honest, and I wanted to see if I could make the process any more enjoyable for myself, because why not? So I I just literally film everything now in one take, which I
Yeah,
find's better. Sometimes, like, obviously I won't get it first time every time, but what I mean is everything's obviously just three cameras or two
it's
cameras, and then
simultaneously. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
simultaneously. And then when I'm practicing, like I said, I should probably practice more, but I practice less just to keep it fun. So that way, on the curve never really seems to go down to that, oh fucking hell, let's just get it over with, that kind of point, because I don't
Yeah.
like, because I'm doing it so much, because I'm doing so many videos in quick succession, feeling like that at least like once a day or every couple of days, it kind of messes with me personally. It might work for
Hmm.
other people, but just personally, I'm not mad on it. So that's why I do it the way that I do it. Just, it's kind of like I get the main parts down, and then when I'm playing, if like I've said this before, you'll go and watch my videos, there'll be mistakes in the videos, but if, like we were saying earlier, the vibe's there, I don't really care too much about the mistakes if they're only small. If the vibe's in the video and it feels right, then that's fine with me, to be honest. I mean, if you want to watch perfect performances, go and watch the real guy play it, because he's going to be better than me. But yeah, I'm just down for capturing the vibe, and then I don't have to have that sort of up and down thing. What about you, Wyatt?
Yeah. So in the beginning, all right, so I guess there's a lot in this for me personally with my own headspace. So in the beginning, I don't know where I heard this. There's a session drummer. I can't remember who the guy's name is. Somebody told me about like this specific guy who never lost an audition. And this was so many years ago, like I'm just butchering it, but hung on to this example because what they told me was this dude never ever got denied an audition. If he showed up and he wanted the part, he got in every band he ever auditioned for. I was like, what's the secret? The guy's like, this dude would practice like each song minimum 300 times. And at the time in my life, I heard this. I was like, all right, cool. So back then I was sloppy. I couldn't get through a song the same more than once. You know what I mean? Like that was my big weakness. So I decided, all right, I'm going to learn these songs 100% note for note. And I'm just going to practice over the course of a week, like every day, hundreds of times, and just get it so that it's so muscle memory so that I can do like every single time it comes out exactly the same. Like it's in there. And I don't even have to, like, it doesn't matter what the cognition is up top, what I'm thinking about, if my head's filled up or not. Like, none of that matters. It's so ingrained in me that it's like walking up the stairs or looking at the back of my hand. I just know it when I go to film it, right? So that's the approach I took for a really long time. And later in life, I realized that I think part of the reason why that was just because of a lot of the personal shit that I had to deal with that was making it so that I couldn't really focus. And I didn't really even know how to focus yet. Like really, really, truly like meditate, focus, like clear and be there with the kit, be there with yourself. Like I kind of was afraid to enter that sort of mindset because there was so much shit I had that I had to deal with from personal traumas and just life experience that I'd been putting off. I'd been like numbing myself to avoid. So I used that other approach where I would do like 10 takes. You know, I'd have like 10 different angles and every angle was different. And the stick tricks were rehearsed and the plays were rehearsed and everything came out exactly the same, but it's because I would literally learn the song over the course of a week. Nowadays, I don't do that way anymore. I'm literally one take now, 2 different cameras, one above, one from the side. And I've recorded, like I have 6 songs that I'll be dropping over the next 6 weeks that will be going out with that style. And it's exactly what you just described, TOBINES. Like each one of those, I sat down, maybe the 3rd or 4th one worked. All right, that one felt good. You know, it's never going to feel 100 and like, it's never going to feel perfect because you're always, I don't know, at least that's me. I'm always like, I could have done better. And then if you get stuck in that, it becomes this loop and eventually you're out of energy and you're like, fuck, like there was definitely at least 3 that were perfect. And I just thought that I could get it 1% better. That was totally diminishing returns. But yeah, so honestly, like it's progressed with me where I had to like assign it to muscle memory because I wouldn't be able to play it otherwise. And I did that for my bands. That was my thing, is like I would tell bands like, no, I play everything exactly note for note because like I spend a shit ton of time on these songs because that's how I learned them for my covers. And I do this method because that's how I get it in me. And I couldn't just kind of be with the song. I had to almost create a mechanism that was in place that while my head was spinning on bullshit, my body could come out, you know. But then later on, like I said, I got a grip on myself and like made a lot of strides just in like meditation and yoga and things that helped me practice mindfulness, that helped me clear out a lot of the shit that would distract me. And now, so I've honestly started with one approach and now I'm the other approach. Exactly.
Yeah, that's super interesting, actually. That's super interesting. It is insane when you think about how you can actually practice a song so much, like you're saying, into that muscle memory, where you can play a song but be thinking about a dog
20
you
other
saw
things.
the other day. Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Whereas, like, I think the way that you you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the way that you're describing it now is you're present in the moment when you're playing on the kit, and you've got more of a vibe now, and I really feel like that's what makes it fun.
Yeah, that's 100% it. And just one last thing real quick to that. The thing about it too for me was back in the day when I was pounding out these metal covers and like I was super fucking swollen, angry all the time. I was angry, you know, like I was in a place in my head where I was thinking about that dumb fucking guy at work said that stupid shit, blah, blah, blah. And like, that's what I was thinking about when I should have been just in the moment, just like playing the song, right? And that was just like the bullshit that I had to like get rid of later in life. And that's why those videos back in the day had that kind of like, I'm gonna break this fucking cymbal right now. Let's go. You know, like it was that there was that kind of intensity about it, but at the same time, it was painful more than anything. So, yeah, man, that's kind of how drums kind of saved me in that way. Saved my
Yeah.
headspace at least.
I was thinking when you said you were playing a song for a week, and I just reflected back on some of the harder songs that I've learned, and it's highly unusual that I'll spend a whole week on one song. I've done it for like 2 or 3 songs, which are very technical and complicated, and once you learn it and once you film it, and it's like it's over, and you're sitting there like, well, now that's a useless skill because I'm not in that band. I'm not gonna play that song like ever again for any reason. I got the video. So there is, at least for me, in such occasions, there is this little uh, you know time frame where I feel like completely empty because I've spent all this work on this one song, perfecting it, playing it super fucking accurate, and I did it. I filmed it, and I'm like, okay, so back to the beginning with the next song. So yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know.
that is
Yeah.
so
There is
true.
this little time frame where at least I feel so unfulfilling because I'm like, okay, I spent a whole week, and now I don't even have where to play this song anymore because
Yeah, I get that.
its whole purpose was for this video.
I get that. And that
Yeah.
going back to the very start when you were saying actually why when you were saying that take a look around video that kind of blew up, that was probably one of the most fulfilling ones I've done in a while. Not because of the views or anything, but I literally had nothing that day prepared. And what you see on that video was literally take one of just jumping on the kit going, oh yeah, this song's sick. I didn't even realize I hadn't done a video of it before. And I was like, oh shit, yeah, I get to do this now. And then that was literally what popped out. And that was so fulfilling after I got off the drums. I was like, shit, I might just do a few more takes now, just to literally play the drums. Like it wasn't to do with the video. That's the shit that gets me going.
That's so dope.
Yeah.
I feel as though I feel as though it just took me a lot longer to get to that. I feel as though like the method. See, that's the thing with you, Dimitar. What you just described, I felt that way for a while, but to me, it was the only way of getting it done. It was the only way of getting it done because it was all I had at the time. Like I didn't have the focus. I just didn't. There was so much in the way.
Yeah.
And then, but fortunately, like the way that I went about it, it was worth something. It was like cashing in on learning discipline. It was cashing in on getting closer to, you know what I'm saying? So for me, that's what it was. Like I don't know. It's just like, I don't know. I guess a lot of what I'm touching at here relates to like just come up and like, the way you bump into life and the experiences you have and things. And I just wasn't set up in a way in which at the time that I could step into a song like you just described. Like I could just know a song and then jump on the kit and pound it out. And like I got to that point, but it took like so many times of like having to fucking force it. You know what I mean? But the forcing isn't the same. It's not like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, yeah, totally. Building the habit and the discipline of learning songs, and building that muscle inside you. That's every time you learn more and more efficiently. For a less period of time.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure. This is a definite bonus benefit, whatever. But what I meant is more like this specific skill of me being able to play this specific song.
No, I got you. I know exactly what you mean. I think too another thing was here's another part of mine. Sorry if I'm talking your guys' faces off. I'm like really in it with this subject. For me it was like, I guess like before I got into music, everything was athletics. So I like played like so much football and like all these different sports. And for me, like if I wanted to learn how to like catch a football or throw a football or like run a route on the field, right? Like it was just it was that. It was like you do it 1,000 times. You know what I mean? Because it's not like an expression. It's like a fundamental skill. Like you have to just, like that was something my dad was in football for years, and he brought me up like, trying to help me learn life through that. So for me, it was like the athletics were like, all right, if I work this over and over and over and over and over and over and over, I'll get it. And that's kind of like how I approached music. But that's not like long term, that's not where music comes from. That's not where the arts like kind of come from. It's not like that. I don't know. There's another place that you need to tap into instead of just forced muscle memory that brings about like
Yeah,
what you like you said, you've used the word like that vibe, capturing that exactly. So
100%.
yeah.
Because I think there's another like aspect to this which is kind of confusing to me personally. Um, is when you are learning an instrument of any kind, is that there is the vibe aspect, but then there is the repetition aspect as well. For example, learning your rudiments, for example. Like,
Yeah.
if you've got a guy that's going to sit there for 10,000 hours doing paradiddles, he's probably going to be sick at paradiddles. And then you've got the other guy
unless he's Luke Holland.
but then you've got like, you've seen the other guys that are like the pocket guys, and you can just tell that they're on like that end of the scale with vibe, and then you've got the other guys on the other end of the scale with the 10,000 hours of paradiddles. And I feel like
Yeah.
knowing where you lie on that scale, the sooner that you can realize that, the better. I mean, for
Yeah.
me, I am far down the vibe end, because every time I get on a practice pad, I'm just like, oh, I can't be arsed, man. But for
Really? Okay.
for for
Wow.
for another
Same,
person, it
same.
might be like they love it. But I feel like if you know who you are, what kind of player you are, then you can focus on where your talents lie and where your path's going to take you. And I feel like once you know that, the the quicker you know that, the quicker you're going to find success, in my opinion.
You're
Yeah.
speaking with my words, man. I'm absolutely the same. I fucking hate practicing on a practice pad. It's the worst thing ever.
Wow. Oh my God. I'm the exact opposite to both you two. I used to be that kid. Like I would show up to like gym class with a pad and sit in the corner and just be like, fuck off. And I would have like my stick control book and I would just be like, triple it, triple it, triple it, like all day. Like I would sit there and just like, cause I thought it was a sport. That's what it was. Like I got into music later. I had done so many sports beforehand and like so much lifting, so much gym training, like, and like, all this. Yeah. And I
That
worked
makes
out with all
sense.
these. Yeah. You know what
It
I
does
mean?
make
And
sense,
so to
yeah.
me, I approached it like it was another sport. So if I wanted to be good in the gym, it's hours pushing up weight. I wanted to be good at the kit. It was hours with the pads. So I spent a long time just doing that, just rudiments and working like basic patterns. And um, I'd say more of my practice was that than ever like songs. And now looking back, to be truthful, I think that honestly, having some of what I put myself through is important, some of it, but the vibe is way more important. Like the more I've learned other instruments now, and like I'm trying to step into like songwriting and understand like, yeah, just like the whole musician, the whole musicianship and like what it is to create music. It the vibe part I would say is like 2/3. Like you need to lean more into that, I would say, than at least for me, because I was so wholly in one side and I know where all my weaknesses were, and they were all because I was lacking the other. And I feel like there was a lot of space that I had to make up for by going back the other way. So
Yeah, 100%. I feel like that 2/3 to a third ratio is pretty good for like
yeah.
general people. I mean, but you can even see that in the history of music. I mean, like you look at punk and what you need to know three chords. It's not about the
Yeah.
technicality or the repetition of the instrument. It's about catching the vibe. But then you look at someone like, I don't know, Dream Theater or Periphery or
Yep.
someone proggier, and it's the other way. And like neither way is right or wrong. It's just like, you know which end you're going to lie on the scale. You go for that, and that that to me is pretty good way of doing things. To be fair.
Yeah, yeah, and actually, Sorry if I'm interrupting, if you're not over, but since we started talking with Limp Bizkit at the beginning, this is something actually I was thinking for quite some time, because I definitely enjoy when I'm listening to some more technical stuff, like, I don't know, Ocean State Alaska, or something more proggy or whatever. And I certainly do appreciate, the musicianship and the technicality, and the thousands of hours that these bands have put in. But it just, at least for me, this is my totally personal opinion and preference, it doesn't move me. It's great, it's beautiful, but it it really, I don't feel a thing watching that. I'm just like admiring some beautiful, I don't know, something, but it doesn't.
Guitar or something.
Yeah, guitar.
Yeah.
But then again, when I'm working out, I'm not playing Dream Theater.
No,
Never.
definitely not.
When I'm
No,
working
no.
out, I'm slapping on some Limp Bizkit. Why?
Yeah.
Because they're simple,
Vibe.
but their vibe is making me wanna just fold the weights in half.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
100%.
And yeah,
For sure. It's almost like you just have to, it's almost like you have to like get to a point where you have the vocabulary, whether it be on the neck of a guitar, sitting at the keys, at the drums, or writing, whatever. You got to get X amount of vocabulary, but the second you got it, and if you stay in it, you're kind of like, okay, now it's just diminishing, because once
yeah,
we have the vocabulary, then go and feel something and push the feeling through the vocabulary, see what comes out of it, right? And like that's why it's like 2/3 from behind, because it's not much that you really ever need to get that vocabulary so you can push through it. You just got to get whatever it is and then go and acquire the rest. And that's like the real, that's like whatever it is, like life events, or just emotions, feelings, great nights with friends, whatever you're writing about, whatever block of life you're in that you got the listeners for. Go and get that and then push it through that vocabulary. So
Yeah, 100%.
yeah, totally. And it's more like, I don't know, because especially I've watched like tens of thousands of drum covers, for the last 10 years, and from some I draw inspiration, from others I just enjoy watching. And what I notice is like, and I don't want to put people in boxes or label them, but this is like the like two or three more general like roles that these drum cover videos have. One is the simplest, which is just like for like educational purposes. It's just like, yo guys, this is one camera angle, nothing fancy, just you watching me play that song. It's almost, if it was made to show people how this song is being played. Then the second one is like the real competitive, flashy stuff, with a bunch of
yeah,
um, unnecessary fills, ghost notes, and it's fucking beautiful. It's a delight to watch, because there is this guy, whoever he is, who's just ripping the drum set, and the song sounds way better. And then the third one is like the guy that's something in the middle of those two, but watching him, you just feel like pumped. You feel like he's able to channel the message of this song through himself, through to you. And as was has told me a lot of times, he's able to uh, put this emotion in a package and deliver it to you so you can enjoy. And it might not be so technical, it might not be so flashy, but the way the edits are done, the lighting, the whatever, the attention to detail, it just makes you feel uh, what he felt while playing. He's not just it's not a competition. It's more of an art in itself. So yeah, and as Toby said, you gotta know where you stand with all this shit. And there's no right or wrong. Different people, different styles of playing, but you gotta know where your strengths lay, and actually use them. I'm done.
Cool, boys.
You were still silent, so yeah.
I know. I was wanted to see if Toby had anything to say, but we're at an hour, so that was a solid fucking hour. Good work, guys.
That was
Yeah.
super
Sweet.
quick, actually.
Yeah. Sweet,
So
man. Well, I
this
can't
means
thank you enough.
liked it.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, man.
Can't thank you enough, Toby, for taking the time to sit down with us and chat today, man.
No, thanks for having me, man. It's
Yeah,
super
thanks,
fun.
man.
Perfect. Awesome.
So
Cool.
as usual with people who we like chatting with, we save the right to have you again as our guests in some months
Yeah.
to track your progress, to see if any of your worldviews has changed in some way. So
Sick,
yeah.
man. Yeah, love to be on again. Yeah, super sick.
Great.
Just like hanging with friends, man. It's sick.
Perfect.
It's cool.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's always great to get a bunch of drummers in a room.